In this video, we are going to learn how to seam or sew together two pieces of knit garter stitch fabric. So in the previous video, we learned to seam side by side, so creating continuous ridge rows. In this video, we are going to learn to seam top and bottom. So the way that you start is the same. So again, normally you would do the seaming with the same yarn that you knitted the garment in, but for this demonstration I'm using a contrasting. So you would just take your needle and go through one corner. Again, normally you would have a longer tail so that you could weave that into the back of the fabric at the end. So in one corner, into the corner of the other fabric, and to secure that, go back into that first corner. Now once again, this garter stitch is made up of ridge rows here, and the ridges have a top bump, a bottom bump, top bump, bottom bump, and if you stretch it out, you can see that the top of each bump there is a V, which is created when you are doing the knit stitches. And again with this bottom one here, stretch it out, there are V's there. Okay, so when you are seaming garter stitch horizontally, after you've secured that corner, you want to find a top bump and you want to see the V above it. So you are taking your needle and going behind that whole V. There. Pull that through. Now in the bottom piece of fabric, you want to take the two legs that are underneath a bottom bump here. So there we go, two legs there underneath a bottom bump. Pull that through. And then we're at the top bump again. We're at the top fabric, so we go for the top bump. So, oops, a bit slippery. So you can kind of see here that there are two V's there. I want to make sure and get the lower V. So feel free to stretch the fabric out so that you can really see that, and go for the V that's just above the bump there. Oops. And again, the bottom bump. There's your bottom bump there. So grab those two legs that are directly beneath the bottom bump. There you go. One more. There is bottom bump, top bump. So I want that top bump there. Again, you can stretch it out to see those two V's there. You want to go through the one that is attached to that top bump. And one more bottom one here. There's a top bump, there's the bottom bump. So I'm going to grab those legs underneath that bump. Okay. So I'm just going to pull this, pull it tight, grabbing my tail, oops, just pulling that nice and tight. And there, that fabric continues on. You got your ridge, your valley, I guess, between the ridge and another ridge there. And you can barely see that yarn. The back of it again has a big fat ridge bump where the seam is, but the front of it looks pretty good. And that is seaming.